So you think you want a Sun Conure. A couple of things you should know about Sun Conures. I'll just go through a list of 3 pros and 3 cons. The pros are they're really cute and sweet. They love to be out of their cage and spending time with you. They will ride around on your shoulder. They can be easily potty trained. They just are sweet little birds to have as a pet that wants to hang out with you a lot of the day and doesn't really need probably a whole lot of specific attention as long as they get to be with you. 2, they're very trainable. My Sun Conures absolutely love to be taught things. They love to do target training. They're very eager. They can pick up tricks within just a few minutes. And then 3, they're colorful and absolutely beautiful. And they make a really great addition to a pretty animal that's in your flock. Cons. Let's talk about the cons because they exist. Cons with Sun Conures. The struggle is real. Unfortunately, number 1, Sun Conures are loud. They're loud, they're loud, and they're loud, and they're loud, and they're loud. Every communication from my Sun Conures, 99% of the time, is they are extremely loud. They scream when they hear my husband coming down the stairs when he gets up in the morning. They scream when they don't get what they want. They'll sit there and scream when they're just sitting in the kitchen. They'll scream when they hear me walk by and they're in their cages and they don't want to be, which is 100% of the time. They would like to be out of the cage with you. And then they'll sit on your shoulder and scream in your ear. And they don't have a very pleasant little, you know, tweet sound like a lot of birds do. And unfortunately, it's probably the biggest drawback to having a Sun Conure. They are so loud. Like my ears ring and I feel like I will momentarily have that of like lost hearing because they're so loud. And I have 2 of them. They'll sit on each shoulder and scream back and forth and I will lose my hearing, and it just takes me a minute. You can't have a conversation over how loud they are with somebody else. So for number 2, they're very clingy. They're called Velcro birds. They want to be with you all the time, and if they don't get to be with you when they want to be with you, they will find a way to get to be with you. If they're out somewhere, they will fly onto you. If they're not clipped and you're keeping them on a perch, they may sit there and scream because they want to be with you. So they're very clingy. They will always enjoy hanging out with you because when you have a pet bird, I mentioned this in my video last week, they are part of your flock. You are their flock. So they tend to be very clingy. Mine are on me 24/7 when they're out of the cage, unless they are digging through the bases of the perches that I have in my house looking for scraps. And that brings me to number 3. They're into everything. They are super curious. They're always willing to do anything for a treat, which is why I said they were very trainable. But they literally will crawl into my food, crawl down my arms. Peach will hang off the bottom of my clothing if there's something that she wants. Mike has something, she'll fly onto him and then fly back to me and then fly onto him. It's a very kind of erratic behavior. My Sun Conures have a lot of energy and are not content just being with you unless they have a full belly and there's not a whole lot else going on. They love to stand on my shoulders while I'm doing the dishes, and for the most part they're quiet unless, like I said before, my husband comes around and they start screaming because he comes in the room. And so the cons, all 3 of them tend to just be sort of like what's stressful about them. I have an outdoor aviary, which makes it really nice to be able to put them outside and just take a little break. There's a lot for them to do. I'm constantly replacing toys and making sure that they have, you know, different snacks throughout the day that are bird healthy, that keeps them content so that they're quiet. Jamie mentioned in one of her recent videos that birds tend to be a bit more quiet after they've had a bath. So about mid-afternoon, they look like they're kind of settling down. I'll give them a bowl of water. They'll take a bath and they're nice and quiet, and they'll just hang out on their perch in the sun, or not in the sun. They'll just preen each other and have a nice little quiet time until the afternoon, and then they start screaming again when they know it's time for dinner. Should you get a Sun Conure? I think if you have the time to devote to a bird and understand that they're a difficult pet to have, you should absolutely get a Sun Conure. However, if you live in an apartment or a place where noise is going to be a difficulty for you, you should not get a Sun Conure. And if you don't like having to deal with the fact that your pet is probably going to make you deaf at some point in your life, then I wouldn't get a Sun Conure. I've had several people ask me, they were looking to get a second bird, and they're so colorful and beautiful and really add a lot to their household. They have another bird, yada yada yada. Nice. And I'm just saying, don't do it. If you have a bird that you know you like, I'd get another one of those if you want a second pet, or, you know, research a bird that would be good for you. And this is not the bird that's good for places where you need quiet, because Sun Conures just scream a lot. They scream a lot. And I hope I've shown you ample footage of that. They are just very loud birds. But I love my birds. When I'm spending time with them and training them, they typically don't spend a lot of time screaming. So that's the upside to them. They're super sweet. I'm constantly posting pictures of them cuddling with me. I get to spend a lot of time with them in the mornings typically. I try to in the afternoon, but when you're a full-time mom and you have a kid and 4 dogs, well, now 3 dogs because we just lost Georgie, and a husband to take care of in a house and all the different things, it just becomes difficult to dedicate a whole lot of time to your birds. But that's why I keep them busy with other things. So I hope that this video has been a little bit informative and has helped guide you to whether or not you want a Sun Conure. I've watched a couple of other people's videos on how loud Sun Conures are, and I really just don't think that they got across how loud Sun Conures are, because I watched them before I got a Sun Conure and I just didn't take it seriously enough. And I swear to you, Sun Conures are the most obnoxiously loud animal that I've ever been around, except for maybe a dog that barks incredibly loud all the time and is just obnoxious. But that's probably a dog that just needs attention. So anyway, that's my opinion. Thanks for watching. If you have a comment on this video or you'd like to add anything to my pros and cons list of Sun Conures, just comment down below. Make sure to like this video, and your comments do help this video do better in the YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate it. Watch again next week for our next video. I'll try to think of something clever to keep you guys entertained. Love you. Bye.